Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for a new LEGO video. Today with something a little bit different from usual, maybe the first of many episodes where I show you how I design my projects. In this first video we will use my latest project, the AH1 Bell Cobra, and I'll show you all the steps I usually follow when I design something. So, how we reach this result? The first step is to find blueprints or schematics about the design we want to follow. So, in this case, AH1 Cobra, blueprints, and here we can find immediately some images. We choose the one we prefer. Let's try with this one. Hey, we download the image. Once we have the blueprints, there are two possible ways. You can use them digitally with a program like Photoshop or GIMP, is a free program, you can find it easily, or you can print them and use the old-fashioned way, so your hands. For our example, I will use the computer for everything, so we will work in this case with Photoshop, but as I said before, you can use also GIMP. Now we have the blueprints of the project, but what we want to know here are the dimensions of each single section. Usually Wikipedia is a good source for them. Once we are on the Wikipedia page, we can scroll down to find all the dimensions we need. Here we can find the length, the fuselage length, height, width, so we have all the dimensions we need. Now what we need to do is to report these dimensions on the blueprints. We know that the total length is 16 meters. Now how we report this dimension on the blueprints? You can do it digitally or physically if you print them, so as I said before, you can choose the way you prefer. But the important thing is, we know that the total dimension is 16 meters. Now if you are working on a computer, you can add some lines, so one here at the beginning and one here at the end, and we know that the space between these two lines is 16 meters. So what we have to do? Simple, you have to divide this distance in 16 parts. Now, depending if you're working with a computer or a paper, you can use, here we have pixels, while on paper you can use a ruler. And it's done. Now this distance is divided in 16 parts. To make it more visible for you, every 5 parts I added a red color, so 5, 10, 15 and 16. Now, of course, we can do the same with the width and the height, but for this tutorial we can check only the length for now, it's not needed to show you everything. And now that we have all the dimensions or our blueprints, it's finally time to start building. Let's open a new file. Now the first thing we have to do is to choose a scale, because yes, we have our blueprints, we have the dimensions, but what is the scale we want our projects to be? We want it, for example, in 1 to 100, very small, or minifigure scale. In my case, I usually follow 1 to 35 for minifigures, but you can choose the one you prefer. For our example, again, we will follow my project, so in this case is already built and I know the scale. So let's go with 1 to 35. Now, how we do convert this dimension in the one we want? Also in this case we have two possible ways. We can use math and you can make your calculations, or actually is present a very good tool online that you can follow to do this work for you. And this is the same I use as well. The tool is called the Lego Unit Converter. You can find it online or on the Google Play Store, or you can find the link in the description of the video. What we have to do is first to choose the dimension we need. In this case, let's go back to our blueprints. We know that the total length is 16 meters. We write 16 meters in the left column, and in the right column we have to choose the scale. In this case, 1 to 35. And here we have all the conversions we need. In our case, studs is the measurement we need. So we know that 16 meters is 57 studs. So the total length of our project will be 57. Let's open our program. Let's choose, for example, bricks. In my case, I use 1 to 10, and we said 57. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 50, 56, and 57. So now we know the total length of our project. Of course, we can do the same with also the other dimensions. So let's go back on Wikipedia. We know that the total width is 3.15 meters. Let's go on a Lego Unit Converter. 3.15 is 11 studs, 11.2, 10, 11, and done. We know that the helicopter will fit inside this space. Now, what happens when you don't have precise numbers? Remember that we are working with Lego, it's not a 3D model where you have to be 100% precise. With Lego you have to be more elastic, because it's yes a 3D model, but we have specific bricks that we cannot break, cut or modify in any way. So don't be too stick with the precise dimension, it's not needed. Sometimes you can also change a little dimension because the eye tells you that something needs to be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Don't worry, it's normal. The next step is to start building our projects in the sections. If we go back on our blueprints, we can select maybe some sections and start from them. For the helicopter, maybe you can start, I don't know, from the rotor, how long the blade is. You can select the blade, and we know that is 6 point something meters. As I said before, you don't have to be very precise. You know that is a little less than 6.5, so you can open our tool, write 6.5, and we know that is around 23 studs, so you can build the first blade with this length. Then you can go back on our blueprint and choose another section. I don't know, maybe the cockpit. So you know that the cockpit here we can move, and with the digital program or a ruler, if you printed the blueprints, we know that is 2.5.6 meters. So again, let's go back on our tool, 2.6, and we know that the cockpit should be 9.2 studs long. And you continue this way until you have many sections, and when you think there are enough sections built, you can start putting everything together, having an overall view of your design. So if we go back on my finished project, we can notice that here the cockpit, as we said before, it should be 9, and in fact we have this section that is 4, this other one is 4, so 8, and the one in the middle is 9. So as you may notice, this is the way I usually work. Of course, if you want to watch the whole process, I remind you that we built this one together during the live streams that you can find in the right up corner or in the description of the video. So in this tutorial we will stop here, but you can find the whole process on the channel. And if this video was helpful to you, leave a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Maybe you can also let me know what could be the next tutorial. Now I gave you an overall idea about how I design my projects, but of course in the next tutorial I can be more specific on some sections, so let me know what you may need and I'll try to work on it. And that's all for today, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you again next time. Bye.